Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to episode number 100. Pete Verra. This is episode 100 of the Batman on Film Social Club. Everybody welcome, everybody welcome Senior BOF Contributor Peter Verra back to the Batman on Film Social Hour podcast. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
The rumor has it that you're working 23 hours a day, 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
And the only break you get, according to Lauer, is you smoke some meats for about an hour a day, and then go right back to work. Is that true? Is all this true?
The only thing you could smoke in an hour, I think, is a hot dog. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know how Lauer. He might need to get a new source.
Okay. Well, I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Ramey, by the way. And so we're going to get right into it. This is kind of sort of one of those old school emergency podcasts. When something big breaks, then we kind of try to talk about it as soon as possible. We're kind of we're a day behind on one part of this discussion. And we're like, about 12 hours after the other, somewhere around there, or is it less than that? But let's get to the first part. So Variety posted a story yesterday about what is the word they use? The difficulty, the conundrum that James Gunn and Peter Safran will have with DC on film going forward, because they're, of course, they're the co-CEOs of DC Studios. And they're currently putting together their Bible for what's going forward. And let's just say this, Pete, straight up, they're rebooting this Joker totally.
I don't know how you can deny it anymore. This is going to be a hard reboot here. People were speculating soft reboot, but this seems to me like this is going to be a complete clean slate. We're just starting fresh here. Reboot. This is going to be a hard reboot.
I thought maybe may have to throw another maybe in there. Some of the more successful, if you will, actors in certain roles could make the transfer to make the move to this new universe, playing new versions of the previous incarnations of those characters. Primarily, I was thinking like Momoa and Gal Gadot, but I didn't think it was a good idea. I thought it was a possibility, because it also brings up, James Gunn, the CEO of DC Studios, is going to have to make some difficult decisions when it comes to the stuff that James Gunn, the filmmaker, did for the previous version of DC on film, that universe. So, but I didn't think it was a good idea. So clearly look, if we're really being honest with ourselves, I think even the diehard fans of the old quote unquote DCEU would probably say, okay, you got new leadership. That what they did before overall was not a success, and a clean slate is probably the best thing.
Yeah, in my opinion, man, is just you've been trying to put duct tape on this leak for a long time. I think now you just got to replace the pipe. To be honest with you, it's just
there you go.
How many regimes have tried to fix the DCEU? Like, let's just I got no problem with them rebooting it, starting over. You know, they still, that means they have a plan to still make these movies. They still want to use these characters. I mean, I remember going as a kid, I went from Keaton to Kilmer to Clooney, and like, you know, I didn't bat an eye. And I was a kid,
Yeah.
like I didn't care. I still don't care who plays the character. All that matters is the character. So at this point,
Ultimately,
like,
yes.
so
Um,
I'm
of
ready
course,
to
we
go.
have
Like,
favorites.
I
Of
think
course,
it's good. Like, just start over, give everyone the freedom, so they're not beholden to what came before them. Right? Like, you know, like it was weird. Like, while the Suicide Squad is like a soft reboot in itself, it still kind of beholds to the original one. And I don't know, just you know, it wasn't working.
no.
That's another thing too.
Some things were successful.
Even within franchises, like Wonder Woman 1 is a huge hit. Everyone loves it. 84 is kind of meh. So like I get what went on with Jenkins. Like Aquaman makes a lot of money, but like it's not like critical darling. So if they want to cancel that, like I get it, it makes sense. You know? Like, I don't know. Like,
I think
everything seems kind of 50-50 at best.
I think with Jenkins, it was probably, hey, we're going to reboot this whole thing, but do you want to be part of that? And it was probably no. And I'm not getting all the drama. If there was
she has
any,
the right to do that.
I mean, if it was Nolan, and Nolan said, okay, we want you to do this instead for, I mean, it was the same thing. He went to finish The Dark Knight Rises.
I mean, I appreciate
trilogy.
them
I mean,
doing
he said,
this now.
no, yeah. So you know what I mean. I'm getting it. I don't
rather than
think,
having them like make the movie, then they chop it up, and then there's like online fight.
I don't blame her for not
end this
wanting.
now.
Yeah, I don't blame her for not wanting to make the movie she wants to make and to finish up, a trilogy of Wonder Woman films. But anyway, getting back to it. So yesterday, Variety writes a story about this conundrum that Gunn and Safran will have, the problem they're going to have with DC, to this new DCU.
Ain't no problem if they reboot it.
Yeah, ain't no. It's clean slate. And they mentioned that there have been like a well-placed source said that there are discussions about bringing in Matt Reeves, the Batman universe, including Robert Pattinson's Batman, into this new DCU as its Batman. And I had been heard that Reeves was Reeves and the Batman, and it's been reported as well. So that's me just hearing things, but that no, it was going to continue on being separate. That was the deal. It was going to be its own thing. He'll be able to finish out his stories, over probably 3 films, and then whatever TV shows they're going to come up with.
So this is what I have to say here. Like, we're going to see here, like, just how much like muscle Reeves has, I think. Because it's like, how do I want to say this? It's just, how do you end up, doing a shared universe Batman with his Batman going on? That's what I try to figure out. But I think I lost my train of thought here.
Well, we were doing the math before we started recording, and I'll get back to this in a second. If Reeves does a trilogy, and the films are spaced out 3 years apart, so we get the Batman 2 in 2025, and then the finale in 2028. I mean, that's only 5 years, basically 5 years.
So like
change. So it's not
I'm thinking by the
huge
third
amount
movie.
of time.
Yeah, there's a little overlap there. That's what I'm thinking.
If you are, I don't know what the approach is going to be, but if Gunn is, and I'm jumping the gun, no pun intended, the second part of this discussion, but if Gunn is writing Superman, the new Superman movie, I mean, that film, it's solo film, and that thing is 2-3 years away anyway. So You wouldn't
I
necessarily.
do kind of like how that kind of confirms that like Reeves' story is like it's it's got a beginning and an end. Like it's not like you're drawing comparisons to Nolan again, but it feels like it's like a just a well thought out like 3-chapter or 3-part arc for the character, which is nice, but with some tie-in TV shows, which is cool.
So Variety says this, and I'm like, and I'll be honest, I was like, F no, I do not want to see Pattinson, Reeves in being dragged into a shared universe. It doesn't.
I'm sure
fit.
it was discussed.
Yeah.
It makes sense to discuss it. It's like that's not the part that like I was like, well, yeah, of course it makes sense. Like you already got this really you've got a really popular movie that everyone seems to like. You like the guy in the role. Like I'm sure it's discussed, but like I'm also sure Matt Reeves is like, no, you don't understand. Like I don't want to do this because like again, like it's my baby. I want to protect it. If you want to do that, you're gonna have to wait. Again, drawing comparisons like Justice League Mortal. Nolan walks into like the story, like the old story is Nolan and Bale walk into Burbank and they're like, cut this, you're not doing this, not till we're done, and they listen to them. And like that's kind of what this feels like in a sense. Like, this is not going to be good for the Nolanite comparisons. People are going to bring those back for us.
Well,
but he's got that, like, you could tell he's almost thought of in that sense as a director. Like they don't want to upset him.
No,
they just don't. They're in the business of Matt Reeves.
They need Matt Reeves at Warner Brothers, not just for Batman.
They need his studio too, like his little.
They need Matt Reeves more than Matt Reeves needs Warner Brothers.
Matt Reeves can go other places.
They need to be in the Matt Reeves business, and of course, in his Batman is a huge hit, and it's already getting the Penguin, but. So this comes up, and I'm like, F no, I don't want. I mean, the whole look that you saw the Batman.
You took it to heart.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm like, hey, you do that, I'm out. I'm out on it. I don't want to see this Batman, especially the way. I mean, hell, the Batman is more grounded than the Nolan series. It really is, the Dark Knight trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see this Batman. With Superman or any other DC characters and mixing it up with aliens and all this other bullshit that I just personally, it's not my cup of tea. And I know it's my opinion, but I think Batman works best when he is not injected into that environment, especially with, and I'm speaking when it comes to the mainstream. I know there's a lot of people, we can argue back and forth with others and I can debate people about, about that, what works best with Batman, but that's a whole different conversation. So anyway, while I'm having a semi meltdown and like going, F no, I am checking into this and I'm asking around and I'm getting more confirmation. Matt Reeves.
Are you at least calm when you're trying to ask your sources what's going on? Or are you like all fired up texting?
No.
You all fired.
Sometimes
I read your tweets in like a very excited Bill voice.
Yeah. I'm always cool. So, no, Matt Reeves is going to the trilogy is not hit. There's going to be a trilogy. They're not going to mess with Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is safe, and then a lot of the stuff is not and safe is not even the word. They're not going to mess with Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is they have. They very much want to continue the relationship with Matt Reeves, and they like the Batman and what he's doing.
I also think the fact that the Batman will have an ending at some point, it gives them a little kind of like, oh, okay, like he doesn't want to do this forever. Like I'm sure they would be in business with Matt Reeves forever as long as he wanted to do it, but for their shared universe, eventually they're going to have to include Batman
because Matt Reeves,
the fact that Reeves has an ending works out in their favor. They don't have to like, push him out the door,
and he can still be at Warner Brothers and do, he has made
eventually
other
he'll move on to
besides
something else.
Batman. Yeah. So James Gunn, which I love this guy, he shot down that Variety article like boom, instantaneously, damn near. I mean, seriously, before I even had a chance to finish writing my article, he had shot it down on Twitter. So I had to change how I worded the article, and I also included his tweet. in it and go, well, that's that. So, and he's like, that is not true. He, he said, I can't name the writer who wrote it, but
I think it was Adam B. Very.
okay, I just didn't know who it was. So he said that there's not too many journalists I like as much as that dude, but this ain't true. This is not true. And then right after that, Matt Reeves, he doubles down on the confirmation and it's like, yeah, I like the source of this being James Gunn or whatever the exact wording was. So that was that.
You think they're in cahoots? You think this is like a big planned out thing, or do you think like they were both scrolling on Twitter and saw this?
I don't know. I'm not one to always jump into like everything there's some sort of conspiracy and everything, but I'm sure. Look, we know that James Gunn is active on Twitter, and he speaks. He calls out bullshit. It's a bad time for the grifters and the bullshitters. I
don't know when it was a good time for him, but
oh no, dude, before Gunn, you could throw out make up anything you want to and throw it out there. even if it had been proven false, eventually they were, people still come back for more to these con artists and these bullshitters, and Gunn is just boom. That ain't true. I don't know who your source is either. It's awesome. I love it. So that is that. We're going to get the Batman, and I don't know. Look, like I said, we're doing the math. I mean, even if
it's actually shorter than I thought. I thought it would be a lot longer.
Yeah, even if we're almost a year removed from the Batman. Think about it. I know it seems like it just came out,
It does.
We're probably 2 years from the sequel. So let's say that the last one is 2028, 2029. I mean, that's still 5-6 years from now. That's not awfully long period of time. And
I think they can wait that long. Like I actually, for some reason, I thought it was closer to like 9 years.
We went 8 years.
But I think they can wait 5
between Batman and Robin and Batman Begins.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, you know how they get. It's Batman. Like they know the Bat Moneymaker, right? That's the old Garrett brought it up on one social hour with you.
Yeah,
it's the old BOF
brought
phrase.
up my old phrase, the shake your Bat Moneymaker.
Be a Bat Moneymaker, like you
like
know
no, Batman's not going away, but I think we can have we can have the ending of the Reeves, the Batman trilogy, and there can be a couple, 2 years, 3 years maybe before we see the DCU Batman. So we're going to get that at some point. Yes, there'll be. I don't know if there'll be any overlap. So that was awesome to see. I love Gunn, and then eventually Mr. Reeves jumping in on that. So then this I didn't see till this morning, and I actually saw it because you tweeted me when it happened. Or you didn't tweet me, you texted me. And I saw my text this morning that Henry Cavill had met with a Gunn and Safran, and they had a very nice meeting. And but he is not going to play Superman any longer, which did not surprise me one iota.
I'm kind of the same boat with you. I mean, Cavill's kind of been Superman in general has been reduced to just a cameo, whether it's Cavill or not. So,
which I always thought sucked. I always thought it was.
It's always been a bummer that you can't see his face, but like whatever. It's not the biggest of deals because I still think it works out best in Shazam. But like it's been a while, since he's filmed a Superman movie. Like the last one was one of the Justice League productions. The last time we saw him in a new movie was Zack Snyder's Justice League, and
he didn't even do anything for that. That was just stuff he already filmed.
Yeah, that was just kind of
when evil Superman showed up at the end of it. That was freaking CGI. So, I mean, it's been 10 years since Man of Steel. 10 years coming up.
I'm not surprised, and let's be honest, Superman did not move the needle for Black Adam, and that film bombed. Like Superman couldn't save that movie with his cameo. And it was just time to move on. Like, and to be honest, like I told you, the thing I'm actually most excited for is James Gunn's writing the next Superman movie. Like I'm already on to Oh, this is again the pre-production phase of the next Superman film. Like that's the best part, in my opinion, where they're writing it, they're
I
casting
thought,
concept art, all that stuff. Like that's let's think about the positive here.
I think Cavill. I am someone who, again, I always say I borderline love Man of Steel. Really, really like it. It's a movie I will go back to and watch. Uh, Loved Henry Cavill in the role. I've said for almost a decade, I think the biggest mistake they made was not to make a sequel to Man of Steel, make a true Superman Man of Steel 2, because I thought Man of Steel teed it up perfectly at the end. And I think Henry Cavill got the raw end of the deal when it came to playing the character, and it's not his fault. But yeah, I get why they're moving on. There is he's tainted a bit. That's, you want something new that's not associated, quite frankly, with something that was, overall was not a success. I mean, let's just be honest here. It was not that DCEU, starting with Man of Steel overall, even though there were some big hits in there. You're going to throw in Aquaman and Wonder Woman 84. And hell, even the first Suicide Squad made a lot of money, but it was not a hit. It didn't resonate with audience.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
I mean, that's
not.
Yeah.
It was kind of a failure. Dud, it's a bummer, but like I don't know, like his time has come and gone. I mean, I've seen other actors play Superman from TV to big screen. Earlier in the show, I just mentioned Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney. Like I don't get attached to these actors in these roles playing these characters. I'm attached to the character, and I feel the same way about athletes. Like, if Judge actually signed with the San Francisco Giants, bye. All right, like you're not my guy anymore. And it's the same thing with these actors. Like, okay, if Cavill's not Superman, on to the next one. I'm still a Cavill fan, so to speak. Like I don't root against him. I hope for the best, but
I don't know.
I'm already moving on to the next Superman, dude.
I'm
ready for the next one.
I'll root for you to be Bond. I mean, whatever you. I know there was some talk in there that. We'd like to work with Henry again. I just can't see him coming back in another role in a DC film. I just can't. I don't think they're going to pull Brandon Routh. Superman. Brandon Routh was Superman in Superman Returns, and then he ends up playing the Atom in whatever that show was on the CW that I never watched. So
I don't know if Routh went through the gauntlet that Cavill did through, like Cavill. It seems like Cavill was up and down, up and down, up and down. With Routh, it seemed like Superman Returns, they were like, yep, we're not going to do the sequel. We're moving on. And that was kind of it, Cavill went through the ringer.
Yeah. I'm saying, Routh having, ends up playing another DC character, even though it was, it was TV, but I just don't see that happening with Cavill coming back as another DC character. I just don't. I know there was also mentioned, I don't know if it was in that Variety report or I think the Hollywood Reporter wrote something about that also, like, they talked to Affleck and wouldn't mind seeing Affleck direct a DC film. And hey, look,
I'm all for that. He's a great director.
I'm all for that. He's a hell of a writer and director.
Just don't expect you to be directing, starring Batman movie. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that. We have been there. We have done that dance. But the man is a very talented director. He's a very talented actor. But if he just wants to direct a movie, let him, and if he wants to direct Green Arrow, let the man direct Green Arrow and let him cast his Green Arrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't expect this to be a Deathstroke scenario here, unless he wants to direct a Deathstroke movie.
Yeah. So, that's basically what that's where we stand. So I would hope. Now there was also that the Coates, what's the writer's name doing that,
I believe it's Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. Doing the Black Superman thing that's been gestating
J.J. Abrams,
for how long now? 3 years, They said it even that Gunn, and we got to talk about that. Gunn is writing the new Superman, but that's not going. This new Gunn Superman project that he's writing is not going to affect that. It's still in development. I don't think it's ever going to happen personally myself.
Wasn't the Wonder Woman sequel also considered one of those movies that was untouchable? Or was it untouchable until the treatment got handed in and then they said, oh, this isn't what we're looking for? Is that how I'm supposed to interpret that statement?
I don't know. I think Patty Jenkins and that version of Wonder Woman had its peak cachet after the original Wonder Woman. I don't think there was a lot of cachet and clout left after Wonder Woman 84. And then when you bring in,
they announced Wonder Woman 3 like within a week of it being released on HBO Max.
Yeah,
they announced it fast.
Well, think of different people running Warner Brothers at the time.
That's true.
Different people. I'm sure
that's why this regime change. You got to always factor in the regime change because it happens so often.
So I mean, and now you've got. I know Walter Hamada was head of DC Films, but it seems like that Gunn and Safran have even more creative liberty and creative power than he might have had. I don't know. It's speculating, but
you mentioned Hamada, and I think it's interesting how it was recently kind of leaked that he was building up to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he was going to have this big kind of multiverse plan. And it's just funny because everyone complained about his plan, but it seemed like he had one.
He did have a plan.
I mean, I believed he had one to begin with. I just didn't know what it was. But
I mean, it
sounded interesting.
I mean, it was basically, I'm not sure how much the Crisis stuff was legit, but I do know there was going to be films that would connect, and there'd be DC films that wouldn't, which brings me up to this. I've been banging the drum on. They got to come up with a second. There should be two banners under DC Studios. There should be the DCU with all the connected stuff, and there should be a black label, whatever you want to call it, where you have stuff like Joker and the Batman and other films like that with DC characters that have nothing to do with a shared universe. Hell, if you want to do that Coates, J.J. Abrams Superman thing, you put it under that banner,
maybe do a period piece kind of Superman Batman movie, even something unique like that.
Like a Gotham. I'm no creative. My big thing is fans. You stay over here and you fan, and then the creatives, let them create.
I'm just thinking out loud.
I mean, you do
something that's like,
you do a black Superman, it'd be great. You do something where it's set in the 1960s during the whole civil rights thing. It would be do a period piece like that. It's something you couldn't do in a connected universe, stuff like that. I mean, you could do.
Where do you think this leaves Blue Beetle? Is Blue Beetle part of the old or part of the new?
Man, I don't know. I can't answer that. I just know
I feel like everything that's been announced is part of the old.
It looks it looks like they are going to push it hard, because I got a box from Warner Brothers yesterday with one of those, the big movie poster, the two-sided, the series, movie posters of Blue Beetle and a card. I can show you. It's right here. This is the Scarab. And then it says, "This is just the beginning. #Blue Beetle, only in theaters, from your friends at Warner Brothers Pictures." So
I hope that movie's good and not such, because I imagine the Blue Beetle itself is going to be very CGI.
I mean, if it is, if they don't have anything, if it's not connected in any way to the old DCEU, then there's no reason why it can't be part of the new stuff. Because we haven't seen Blue Beetle in anything ever. At all. So and then of course Gunn he's writing the new Superman movie,
which is like the news that I feel like no one's really pumped up about. Like, this is the most exciting. Like, I get it, Cavill's gone, okay, so you shed your tears, but we're getting the next Superman movie is in development. Like, he's writing it. James Gunn, the head honcho, the big boss, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of on fire. Like, people love, well, I didn't like it. The holiday special, Guardians 3's coming out, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm ecstatic. I couldn't have. I think he's the guy. I really do. Everyone's kind of like, I don't know if his tone is this. And I was like, I think you've seen James Gunn adapt to what Disney wants him to do, and you've seen James Gunn kind of released and let go with Warner Brothers. And I think Superman, it falls in the middle somewhere there. I think he could do it. I'm really excited for this.
Well,
I am. And how they described it, they mentioned young reporter. That's cool to me. I'd love to see a young reporter on the grind.
Yeah, it to me. Go ahead.
No, it's we've seen, I guess, in the Donner movies, the reporting stuff. We didn't see a whole lot of it with the Snyder stuff. It was in Superman Returns, was kind of been absent from the movies for a while. Like, Clark Kent died in BVS, for crying out loud. So it's going to be cool to get back to that old school Superman stuff. Maybe we'll see. That gets me excited for other things like Jimmy Olsen, Perry White. Like,
it's
like I'm excited again.
It's like year 2 Superman. He's still young.
I'm actually thinking like kind of like JMS Superman Earth 1, because maybe they kind of go like Batman. The Batman reminds me of Earth 1 Batman. Maybe they do kind of an Earth 1 Superman. I don't know. That's just a different type of like take they could go.
I like the young reporter. I would like to see them, lean into that more. Like you said, we haven't seen it, and I'm anxious to see what they come up with. I'm anxious to see who they cast. I'm anxious to see who they get to direct.
Yeah, this is the fun part. Like, we all love this speculation and production. Because we know what's going on here for a
even bit. Even though Gunn's writing, he'll be serve as a producer. I highly doubt he directs it. And so who comes in and will be important. It needs to be someone who they need a Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves, he's a diehard Batman fan. They need someone like a director like that who has that kind of affinity for Superman.
Like, Reeves wrote and directed. Yes. Like, if someone like Matt Reeves, wouldn't you want to write your own script and not kind of direct? See, if Gunn's writing it, it feels like it's kind of a director for hire type thing.
I still think you bring in a director. You need someone who knows the character. You got to have someone who knows the character and respects the mythos. So you just got to. So you don't think Gunn does this? You direct don't think Gunn it? Yeah, I would. If I had to make a prediction, I would say no.
Because they did ask him before Suicide Squad. I think it was reported by one of the trades that they asked him if he for Superman. He said no, and he ended up picking Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long he's really wanted to do this. Maybe he was, didn't want to deal with a lot of the drama.
I know he has said that even though he's, an executive, he would still direct some DC stuff for Warner Brothers. I don't know if he'll do Superman, but maybe.
Does that just mean Peacemaker season 2? He's going to direct a couple episodes. Well, that's still coming.
Look, let's think about this. Let's talk about this real quick, and we'll get out of here. As I said this in a previous social hour, and I was talking to you about it before we started recording. I do think that CEO, Warner Brothers executive, James Gunn, is going to have to make some hard decisions. Like, he made a hard decision with Cavill and Wonder Woman 3, and he's going to have to make some hard decision when it comes to James Gunn, the director, the filmmaker, because the Suicide Squad, for all I know, it's a soft reboot, but still part of what happened before, and then Peacemaker is part of that. That he worked in that previous DC universe.
Yeah, but I think he's working in his own. I think the fact that he works in his own universe is more appealing than working in somebody else's.
So, are you going to? You're going to bring any of maybe he just doesn't bring any of the Suicide Squad characters into any other thing that's DC from this point on. You do the Peacemaker.
I don't expect it. I think everything I think if it's been filmed already, I think it'll come out and we'll see it, and that's it. Like, just after the news that broke, I don't think Peacemaker 2 is going to happen. And I don't think there'll
The
be a
TV
sequel to
series.
this. Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's not going to happen.
That's that was a big hit. That's
It
what I'm
was,
saying.
but
Okay,
I think he's going to make the cut
if he
because
makes
again, he's building his sandbox.
if he cuts that, that's his own deal. That's what I'm talking about. That's making a hard decision.
That's
on
why I think it's a
himself,
clean slate reboot.
because he's being a producer, being an executive is a different role than being a filmmaker. Completely.
But I think he does that knowing he can do other DC things. I think he'd be confident in rebooting the Suicide Squad and directing himself. Or what if he wants to do like a Booster Gold movie? I think he could totally do that.
Well, he would be
well.
good for Booster Gold, but yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I think he could step on. I honestly believe with this man's resume and just look at his IMDb, I really believe he can do anything within that genre.
yeah.
And I'll watch it, and then I'll judge
Yeah.
it for
I'm a
for
fan.
what it is.
I'm a fan of James Gunn. So, all right. So come back full circle because this is Batman on film. Yeah, just give me this Matt Reeves thing. Let it play out. Keep it separate. I'm gonna keep banging the drum on the Black Label banner at DC Studios. Probably won't happen, but it should, because you are doing things like Joker 2 and the Batman sequel and the Penguin TV. So I mean, why not? It gives you it would make you even further or more. It make you different than just, okay, we're going to do our own shared universe and we do it just like Marvel. That's another thing. I hope you got to do something different, even though everything is shared.
I hope it's not as
MCU.
family friendly, to be honest with you.
Got to
I
do
hope
something different. The whole approach has to be different than the MCU, and also having a Black Label where you have films that aren't and projects aren't connected to everything that does connect is a way to make it even differentiate it even more from the MCU. So anyway, I'm happy because I'm getting my Batman from Matt Reeves. So
I think you're always getting it. I think you just got a little nervous. You got a little nervous.
So I will not confirm or deny that there could have been a little bit of trolling involved, at that. But I just, I don't want to see Robert Pattinson as Batman in a freaking in space. Which
I don't think you will.
It's like one of the dumbest things I've ever. I'm sorry. This Batman.
Have
you
read Batman 130 yet?
Yes, I have read it. I read it before it came out.
Oh,
I thought Batman falling from the moon and landing on Earth, and he's not even in a freaking space capsule of any kind, was one of the dumbest things I've ever. That was like.
I just want to give a shout out to Justin Kowalski because he loves Batman in space, and that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen myself. So shout out to Justin. You got your Batman.
And just so happens he lands right by the Fortress of Solitude. I was like, you gotta be kidding me with this.
All he had was an oxygen mask.
Yeah.
He was in his regular bat suit, which I guess is space appropriate.
Yeah, which is dumb. If that's the case, that's dumb. Oh, anyway, no, I don't want to see any shit like that in a film either. I mean, that was like all I could think about when I read that was like, this is like on the level of Batman and Robin space surfing, when they ejected from Mr. Freeze's rocket ship.
You want to know my biggest gripe with that scene is, why are they surfing? They have capes. They're supposed to use their capes as glides.
Because it looked cool.
Don't you
love it's supposed to look cool.
It did look cool when I was.
Doesn't Robin say? Doesn't he go let out a
cowabunga? Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's all I got. I'm sure more news is coming, and
it will.
We are getting into 2023, which I will say we'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Batman on film all next year.
For a while.
And but the Penguin will be up and running. We'll be up. So Batman film will be covering that. And hopefully, I guess we'll get that late next year or early 2024. It's going to kind of be the bridge between the Batman and the sequel.
That's great. I'm really excited for that. I can't wait.
Come right dead in between.
Colin Farrell crushed that role. I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah, well, they've been casting this thing pretty good. The casting so far has been good. That they announced, I really didn't mean casting, but the characters they've announced who are going to be in it. I'm interested.
Sophia's in it.
Yeah,
You know, we're
Johnny
heard about
Vito.
Marone. Yeah, it is.
Baroni.
This is going to be.
I'm not saying I knew it, but I'm like, how long I've been saying, Maroney's got to be in this. You know it.
Yeah. And I hope we get to see Maroney let out from jail because he's in.
Yeah. The way the Batman ended with the whole thing being shenanigans to get him in prison in the first place. So, that conviction, that's perfect. His conviction will be overturned. He's back in Gotham.
He's got a good lawyer. He'll figure this out.
Carmine Falcone is dead, so he's going to go claim the top. Want to come in and try to claim the top spot in Gotham, but Oz Cobblepot and the Sophia and the rest of the Falcones, they're not going to just go away. So
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, can you imagine a Sopranos or Boardwalk Empire level crime drama on HBO? On HBO, the home of those two. That's set in the world of Batman. That's awesome.
The only thing I don't want is I don't want the Penguin to die. I want him to come out of this alive.
Oh, so there's no way. There's no way. I think the only thing I think Colin Farrell's Penguin, it'll be a character that we'll see in all of this stuff throughout.
Yeah, so you kind of think he'll be the new Scarecrow.
Kind of, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Good stuff.
Because I think I'm not predicting, but just I would figure that Oz becomes the top gangster in Gotham when it's all said and done.
Hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. All right.
Hopefully we'll see some penguins.
Yes, with rockets.
Yeah, I love. Me. I love rocket penguins.
God Almighty. Okay, and that's time. It's time to end this and plug. Go
ahead.
It's
the season for Batman Returns.
Plug.
You can follow me on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, Mastodon, and Verra, Zack Snyder's favorite platform. At Pete Illustrated. You can follow podcast #1, Straight Outta Gotham. That's straight_O_G on Twitter and Instagram as well. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. Consider joining and following both. Follow podcast #2, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast, at Italians for Spidey on Twitter. Check that out. Check out at Team Yellow Oval. Check out BatmanOnFilm.com and Batman on Film YouTube. I've got all kinds of reviews and interviews and toy stuff over there on both the website BOF Proper and BOF YouTube. So I'm all over social media, and let's all celebrate the announcement that a new Superman movie is in the works. So let's all be happy.
Let's really celebrate the fact that Matt Reeves is going to complete his trilogy, and all the spinoffs are going to happen on HBO too. Yes.
Yeah, I hope the term "all the" there's more than one is great.
Sure. Yeah. Give me that Arkham. Give me something. Give me a Catwoman. Come on.
Yeah.
Keep it coming.
Give me a Clayface period piece.
With Basil Carlo, the master
stage
disguise.
actor in Gotham.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on with it. For me, Batman-on-film.com. It's all there. I will plug that I just got the interview couple weeks ago through DC, thanks to the people at DC, my friend Michael Uslan, Pete's friend Michael Uslan, for his new original story, Batman story, based on his and Stan Lee's version of Batman from what was called Just Imagine.
Earth 6?
Okay. And it's and there was the Stan Lee, Just Imagine, Stan Lee does DC, whatever, that Michael was very involved with the creative process with that. So there's a new anthology coming out. Pete, you know this, right? Tales
I know
from
of
Earth 6. Yes. Tales from Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee. It's his 100th birthday being celebrated, and there are new stories for all of those, the Stan Lee version of DC characters like Superman.
His version of Batman is a very unique take.
And Michael wrote the new Batman one. There's a new Batman story. That's what we talked about in the podcast. So check it out. Have you read it yet?
I have to get that one. I have not read it. I usually wait for the physical copies.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. It's cool. The stories are short for each one. So Yeah, this one with, I'll just tease a little bit. The one that Michael wrote, you're going to see this world's version of the Joker.
Ooh.
And you're also going to see this world's version of Commissioner Gordon. And also kind of a twist on the bat signal. So I'll leave it at that.
Interesting.
Check that out. Comes out the 26th, I believe. 26th or 27th. 27th.
Day after Christmas?
27. 27th is a Tuesday, so it's 27th it comes out. All right. That's all I got. So with that, thanks for listening. For Pete, I'm Bill, and announcer Rachel will plug some more stuff and take us out. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official vlog and podcast on Batman on Film. Follow Jett on Twitter @Batman on Film. Follow the BOF newsfeed on Twitter @TheBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, established in 1998.